And now, Prendick, I will explain, said Dr. Moreau. He sat in my deck chair, a cigar half consumed held in his dexterous fingers. The light of the lamp fell on his white hair. He stared through the little window out at the starlight. These creatures you have seen are animals carven and wrought into new shapes. Yet it is not simply the outward form of an animal which I can change. The physiology, the chemical rhythm of the creature may also be made to undergo an enduring modification. Some such things have been hit upon in the last resort of surgery. Most of the kindred evidence has been demonstrated as it were by accident. By tyrants, by criminals, by the breeders of horses and dogs, by all kinds of untrained, clumsy-handed men working for their own immediate ends. I was the first man to take up this question armed with antiseptic surgery and with a really scientific knowledge of the laws of growth. But, said I, where is your justification for inflicting all this pain? The only thing that could excuse vivisection to me would be some application. Precisely, said he. But you see, I am differently constituted. So long as visible or audible pain turns you sick, so long as your own pains drive you, so long as pain underlies your propositions about sin, so long, I tell you, you are an animal, thinking a little less obscurely what an animal feels. This pain is such a little thing. It may be that save in this little planet, this speck of cosmic dust, invisible long before the nearest star could be attained, it may be, I say, that nowhere else does this thing called pain occur. I am a religious man, Prendick, as every sane man must be. It may be, I fancy, that I've seen more of the ways of this world's maker than you. For I have sought his laws in my way all my life. And I tell you, pleasure and pain have nothing to do with heaven or hell. This store which men and women set on pleasure and pain, Prendick, is the mark of the beast from which they came. Pain and pleasure, they are, for us, only so long as we wriggle in the dust. But, said I, the thing is an abomination. To this day I have never troubled about the ethics of the matter, he continued. The study of nature makes a man at last as remorseless as nature. He became silent. Yet, there is still something in everything I do that defeats me. The human shape I can get now, almost with ease. But it is in the subtle grafting and reshaping one must needs do to the brain that my trouble lies. First, one animal trait, then another, creeps to the surface and stares out at me. But I will conquer yet. Each time I dip a living creature into the bath of burning pain, I say, this time I will burn out all the animal. This time I will make a rational creature of my own. But they revert. As soon as my hand is taken from them, the beast begins to creep back, begins to assert itself again. Another long silence. Then you take the things you make into those dens? Said I. I turn them out when I begin to feel the beast in them. They build themselves their dens, gather fruit, and pull herbs, marry even. But I can see through it all, see into their very souls, and I see there nothing but anger and the lusts to live and gratify themselves. Yet they're odd, complex, like everything else alive. There is a kind of upward striving in them, part vanity, part waste sexual emotion, part curiosity. It only mocks me. And now, said he, standing up after a long gap of silence. "What do you think? Are you in fear of me still?" I looked at him and saw but a white-haired man with calm eyes. Save for the touch almost of beauty that resulted from his set tranquility and his magnificent build, he might have passed muster among 100 other comfortable old gentlemen. He smiled. "You have had 2 eventful days," said he. "I should advise some sleep." I woke early. A tapping came at the door, and I heard the glutinous accents of Maling speaking. "Good morning, sir," he said, bringing in an ill-cooked rabbit in addition to the customary herb breakfast. Montgomery followed him. I was urgent to know how these inhuman monsters were kept from falling upon Moreau and Montgomery, and from rending one another. He explained to me that they had certain fixed ideas implanted by Moreau in their minds, which absolutely bounded their imaginations. This law they were ever repeating, I found, and ever breaking. Both Montgomery and Moreau displayed particular solicitude to keep them ignorant of the taste of blood. They feared the inevitable suggestions of that flavour. The population of the island, Montgomery informed me, now numbered rather more than 60 of these strange creations of Moreau's art, not counting the smaller monstrosities which lived in the undergrowth and were without human form. Altogether, he had made nearly 120, but many had died, and others had come by violent ends. Each preserved the quality of its particular species. The human mark distorted, but did not hide the leopard, the ox, or the sow, or other animal or animals from which the creature had been moulded. The 2 most formidable were my leopard man, the one who had chased me, and a creature made of hyena and swine. After we had breakfasted, Montgomery took me across the island to see the source of the hot spring I had blundered on the previous day. Both of us carried whips and loaded revolvers. While going through a leafy jungle, we heard a rabbit squealing. We stopped and listened, but heard no more. We also saw the trunk of a tree barked in long strips and splintered deeply. Montgomery called my attention to this. "Not to claw bark of trees, that is the law," he said. "Much some of them care for it." It was on our way back that we came upon the dead rabbit. The wretched little beast was rent to pieces, many of the ribs stripped white, and the backbone indisputably gnawed. At that Montgomery stopped. "Good God," said he, stooping down, and picking up some of the crushed vertebrae to examine them more closely. "I saw something of the same kind," said I, "the first day I came here." "The devil you did! What was it?" "A rabbit with its head twisted off, in the undergrowth at the back of the enclosure, when I went out in the evening. The head was completely wrung off." He gave a long, low whistle. "We must put a stop to this," said Montgomery. "I must tell Moreau." Moreau took the matter even more seriously than Montgomery, and I need scarcely say that I was affected by their evident consternation. In the afternoon our party set off across the island to the huts in the ravine. We were armed. Maling carried the little hatchet he used in chopping firewood, and some coils of wire. Moreau had a huge cowherd's horn slung over his shoulder. "You will see a gathering of the beast people," said Montgomery. "It is a pretty sight." Moreau said not a word, but his heavy, white-fringed face was grimly set.